I'm always so exhausted by the time I get home. It's a kind of exhaustion that doesn't just sit in my muscles. It crawls under my skin, settles behind my eyes, and pulses there like a second heartbeat. The fluorescent scream of the office light still burns in the back of my mind, a harsh afterimage that refuses to fade, even here in the blessed half-dark of the stairwell corridor. I climb 3 flights, dragging myself upward, each step feeling like I've got an iron weight chained to my ankle. My breath comes out in shallow bursts, and for a moment I swear I can hear the echo of my own pulse bouncing off the concrete walls. My key finally finds the lock of apartment 3B, my lock, my tiny sanctuary. The deadbolt snaps as it turns, a sound that should feel comforting, but instead reminds me how empty the place really is. I push the door open and breathe in the ghostly, oddly familiar smell of last night's cheap instant noodles, mixed with the stale, trapped warmth lingering inside. It's pathetic, but it's mine. I don't even make it to the bedroom. The loose, sagging embrace of my old living room couch calls to me like an old friend who never asks questions. I sink into it, the springs groaning their usual complaints beneath my weight. The fabric smells faintly of dust, old fabric softener, and me. It's embarrassing how quickly my body gives up. My eyelids drop, heavy as stone, and sleep drags me under like a tide pulling a body out to sea. Hours later, I jolt awake in full, animal panic as a hand clamps down on my shoulder and shakes me violently. "Hey, hey," someone shouts, the voice slicing through the fog in my brain like a blade. I gasp, choking on my own breath, disoriented and half-blind. My heart slams against my ribs so hard it hurts. Silver moonlight cuts the room into sharp shapes and deep, swallowing shadows, turning everything familiar into something strange and threatening. A man is leaning over me, close, too close, his thin face slick with sweat in the dimness. His jaw is tight, trembling with adrenaline. His eyes are wide, unblinking, wild little marbles reflecting the faint light like an animal cornered in the dark. "Get up, what the hell are you doing in my apartment?" His voice isn't just angry, it's a harsh, primal growl, the kind that comes from someone who feels violated, threatened, ready to fight. It rips straight through whatever dream I'd been trapped in and leaves me frozen, breathless, and suddenly aware that something is terribly, impossibly wrong. Panic floods through me so fast it feels like my veins turn to ice. I stumble to my feet, my heart pounding so violently it shakes my whole chest. "You're what?" I blink hard, trying to force my vision to steady, to make sense of the shape in front of me. "No, no, this is my apartment. This is 3B, I live here." The man steps back, just enough to melt halfway into the shadows near the door, as if the darkness itself is trying to swallow him. "You out of your mind?" he snaps. "I live in 3B, what the hell are you doing in here?" "I don't know who you are," I say, trying to sound firm, authoritative, anything other than terrified. "But you need to leave before I call the police." "Oh, I need to leave? That's cute. You break into my place and now you're threatening me." His voice drips with disbelief and anger and something else, something unstable. My hand drags through my hair as my eyes dart toward the hallway. Could I shove him out and slam the door? Could I grab my phone, where is my phone, and call someone? My mind races, tripping over itself. I take a cautious step toward him, my hands half raised in a pathetic attempt at calm. "Look, I don't know what this is. Maybe you got the wrong floor, or maybe you're confused, but this is my apartment, okay? You don't live here." He stares at me, long, unblinking, like he's trying to peel back my skin and read whatever's underneath. Then, with a sudden, sharp movement, he jerks his arm up and points toward the kitchen. "Oh yeah, then tell me that's your owl mug." His voice is low, almost triumphant. I follow the line of his finger. There, sitting on the coffee table, like a planted piece of evidence, is a chipped blue owl-shaped mug. A mug I've never seen before. A mug that feels like a trap, waiting to snap shut. I blink hard, as if my brain needs a second to catch up. I don't know, that's not mine." "Of course it's not," he growls, his voice cracking with a fury that feels too sharp, too personal. That's my mug. And where's my sailboat painting? I had it right there. He jabs a trembling finger toward the wall above the TV, his whole arm shaking with adrenaline. Are you a thief? Did you come in here to rob me? I turn slowly, my stomach dropping as if the floor tilts beneath me. My faded poster of the Swiss Alps, the one I've had since college, the one with the crease in the corner, is gone. Vanished. In its place hangs a glossy, overly saturated print of a sailboat cutting through impossibly blue water. The kind of blue that doesn't exist in real life. The kind of blue that looks like it was edited by someone who's never actually seen the ocean. Wait, I had a poster there. Mountains, the Swiss Alps, I swear it was there. My voice sounds thin, almost childish, swallowed by the heavy silence pressing in around us. The man just stares at me, his chest rising and falling in quick, shallow bursts. His breathing is loud, ragged, like someone trying not to lose control. I lift my hands slowly, palms out, as if I'm trying to calm down a wild animal that might lunge at me. Okay, maybe I messed up. The words scrape out of my throat, shaky and uncertain. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I walked into the wrong door. I didn't mean to, I swear, I'm sorry. I take a step back, my knees wobbling so badly I feel like they might buckle. I'll go, all right. I'll just grab my things and go. But something stops me. A tiny, cold thread of doubt winds itself around my spine. I look back at the coffee table, at that chipped blue owl mug. It's not just unfamiliar. It's wrong in a way that makes my skin crawl. The eyes aren't painted evenly. One stares straight ahead, dull and lifeless. The other is crooked, angled just enough that it looks like it's watching the hallway behind me. A chill runs down my neck, slow and deliberate, like a fingertip tracing my spine. The man hasn't moved, but his expression shifts, the anger draining from his face, replaced by something far more unsettling, confusion, doubt. His eyes flick from the wall, to the mug, to me, as if he's suddenly questioning the ground he's standing on. I don't remember this table being glass, he mutters, barely audible, like he's speaking to himself rather than to me. I look down. The table is wooden. It has always been wooden. It has always been mine. And yet, he looks just as certain of his version as I am of mine. What are you talking about? I ask, but my voice comes out too soft, too thin, nowhere near confrontational. It sounds like a voice that already knows it won't like the answer. No, it was glass, he murmurs, almost as if he's arguing with a memory instead of with me. Round, it had a chip on the rim from when I dropped my takeout. This one is wood, square, and that lamp. He turns slowly, like he's afraid of what he's about to see. That's not my lamp. Something creaks inside the bedroom. A long, slow, deliberate sound. Neither of us moves. The air feels suddenly colder, sharp enough that I can see the faintest cloud of his breath when he speaks again. I think, he says, voice trembling in a way that makes my stomach twist, I think this isn't your apartment, or mine. The frantic anger he had before is gone, completely gone, replaced by something far worse. A reflection of my own frozen fear. A fear that feels ancient, instinctive, like the kind that makes animals run before they even know why. Keys, he growls, shoving a shaking hand into his pocket. His fingers fumble, scraping against fabric before he finally pulls out a keyring. We need to get out of here. We need to figure out what the hell is happening out there. My own keys sit in my palm like cold, heavy stones. They feel wrong too cold, too metallic, as if they've been sitting in a freezer. We don't speak anymore. The silence between us becomes a living thing, thick and suffocating, carrying the faint smell of rot and the unsettling sensation that the shadows clinging to the walls are watching us breathe. The hallway leading to the door looks longer than it should, stretched somehow, like the apartment is subtly rearranging itself when we're not looking. I take a step forward. The carpet lets out a faint, brittle squeak under my foot. I glance down. The floor looks the same as always, ugly beige, slightly stained, worn down by years of footsteps. But now I don't trust it. I don't trust anything in this place. Behind us, the bedroom door creaks again. Only this time, it doesn't stop. It opens slowly, inch by inch, with a sound like breath sliding between clenched teeth. He doesn't turn around. I don't either. We both stand there, frozen, listening to something we can't see breathing in the dark. "Don't look back," he whispers. His voice trembles so badly it barely qualifies as a whisper. "Just walk." We move, inching forward like two people trying not to wake something sleeping behind us. Every object in the living room looks wrong, tilted, shifted, rearranged by a hand that doesn't understand how human spaces are supposed to look. The couch leans slightly toward the wall, its cushions sunken in as if something heavy had just risen from them. The bookshelf is missing an entire shelf, leaving a jagged gap like a pulled tooth. My hand tightens around my keyring. The keys rattle far too loudly, the metallic clatter echoing through the room like a warning bell. It feels intentional, like the keys themselves are trying to call attention to us or trying to make sure something else hears. "We are almost there," I murmur, though I have no idea who I'm trying to reassure, him or myself. My voice sounds thin, stretched, barely holding together. The front door is 3 meters away. 2. My pulse hammers in my ears. A soft knock echoes from inside the bedroom. The man beside me flinches violently. I don't dare look. I don't dare breathe too loudly. The temperature drops so suddenly it feels like stepping into a freezer. My breath fogs the air in front of me, hanging there for a moment, then drifting backward, sliding against the laws of physics as if pulled by an invisible current. I choke on my own breath. "This place, this thing, it's copying us." "Badly," he mutters, voice hollow with dread. The front door looms closer now, but the doorknob looks wrong, longer, thinner, stretched like melted plastic. He reaches it first, his hand shaking violently as he tries to jam his key into the lock. The metal scrapes uselessly against the plate, screeching like nails on bone. It won't fit." Panic floods his voice again, raw and desperate. "It should unlock from the inside," I hiss, grabbing the cold knob. My fingers close around it. It feels too smooth, too cold, like it's been waiting for me. I twist. It turns freely. Thank God. A wave of desperate hope surges through me as I yank the door open. We stumble out into the hallway together, gasping for air, only to choke on the stale, unmoving atmosphere outside. The hallway air feels dead, like it hasn't been disturbed in years. Like nothing living has breathed here in a very, very long time. The air tastes like thick dust and the same damp, rotting undercurrent we felt inside. It coats my tongue, clings to the back of my throat, makes every breath feel like I'm inhaling the inside of a forgotten grave. The hallway light fixture is shattered, its glass scattered across the floor in glittering, razor-thin shards that catch the faint grey glow of the pre-dawn light. That weak light filters through a grimy window at the far end of the corridor, illuminating a scene so wrong, so decayed, that both of us freeze where we stand. The hallway is a ruin. Not messy, not neglected. A ruin, the kind of destruction that takes years, maybe decades. The wallpaper hangs in long, mold-stained strips, peeling away to reveal crumbling plaster beneath. The carpet is worn down to threads, blotched with dark, unidentifiable stains, pulled back in places to expose warped wooden floorboards. Apartment doors hang crooked on broken hinges, some barely attached, revealing slivers of darkness inside rooms that look abandoned long before we ever arrived. Thick cobwebs, dense as gauze, cling to the corners and ceiling, sagging under their own weight. The air is freezing, heavy with the overwhelming stench of damp rot, mold, and years of absolute neglect. It feels like stepping into the corpse of a building. "This," the man beside me whispers, his voice cracking like old wood, This building, it's condemned. Look. He points with a trembling finger toward a large official notice nailed crookedly to the wall directly across from our door. Apartment 3B. The notice is faded, water-stained, but the bold red letters are unmistakable. Condemned. Structurally unsafe. Entry forbidden. My blood turns to ice. We both turn slowly, as if afraid of what we'll see, to look at the door we just came through. Apartment 3B. The wood is warped, swollen from moisture. The paint bubbles and peels in thick curls. A heavy layer of grime coats the surface, thick as old moss. The number 3B is barely visible beneath the filth, the brass digits green with corrosion. The lock looks rusted shut. It looks like it hasn't been opened in years. Years. The man lifts his hand, slowly, painfully, as if raising the key costs him something. I look down at my own. Both keys are identical. Both labeled for 3B. Both cold, heavy, and useless against the decayed reality in front of us. Yet they worked moments ago. They opened a door that shouldn't open. A door that shouldn't exist. He meets my eyes. Our keys hang loosely from our hands, useless metal dangling between two people who no longer trust the world they're standing in. The only sound is the frantic hammering of our hearts and the suffocating silence pressing in around us. And then the shadows behind the door move. At first I almost miss it, just a flicker, a ripple in the darkness, a patch of black deeper than the shadows around it, but then it steps forward, slow and deliberate, like it's savoring the moment. It isn't a person, not exactly. The shape doesn't hold together properly, limbs bend where they shouldn't, joints jutting out at impossible broken angles. Where a face should be, there's only the hollow suggestion of one, like a melted mask, warped by heat, features sagging into something that resembles humanity only from far away. And the worst part, the hallway isn't big enough for it. The ceiling should scrape its skull, the walls should crush its shoulders, but it keeps coming anyway, folding itself into the space as if the apartment is bending around it, reshaping itself to let it through. The shape tilts its head. My ribs tighten, my breath trapped in my throat like a living thing trying to claw its way out. The man beside me makes a sound, not quite a groan, not quite a prayer, something caught between terror and surrender. A wet crack splits the silence. The doorframe splinters, just a hairline fracture, but in the dead stillness of the hallway, it sounds like a gunshot. We run. The stairs blur beneath our feet, a smear of concrete and panic. We don't stop until concrete becomes asphalt, until the sky bleeds into dawn and the world finally remembers how to breathe. We turn to each other, our eyes locking, a silent scream passing between us. My stomach drops as reality rearranges itself in my mind, piece by horrifying piece. This isn't right. The street signs are unfamiliar. The buildings are painted in colors I've never seen in this neighborhood, colors that don't belong anywhere. And then the realization hits me with a force that nearly knocks me off my feet. I don't live in an apartment. I have a house. A blue colonial with hydrangeas in the front yard, a mailbox with my name and Olivia's painted on the side, a garage where my daughter's bike leans against the wall. Cold sweat slides down my spine. How did we get into that place? Who let us in? But the most chilling question hangs between us, unspoken, heavy as a tombstone. What the hell did we just escape from?